Hey everybody, welcome back to Leosophy. I got 3 more questions and I'm going to jump right in. Question 1. What invertebrate would you recommend for a beginner? Well, it depends on what kind of invertebrate you're interested in because there's a lot. The most commons would be mantises, tarantulas. And when it comes to tarantulas, anything in the Brachypelma, Tlilto, or Grammostola genus are pretty good. In my opinion, a lot of people include the green bottle blue, the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens, as a beginner. Maybe I just didn't have good luck with one, but I mean, I love chartreuse. I love my GBB, but man, he's psychotic. Like, I don't think of him as a beginner pet at all. That being said, anything in those genuses, I'm just glad, I'm biased here, but I'm glad that I got a Tlilto albopilosum as a first tarantula. I actually got a twofer. I got vagans with it, same genus, but they've been an absolute delight. But the albo in particular has been just very forgiving for someone who didn't know what they were getting into at first. Even though they weren't my first invert pet, they were my first tarantula pets. Other than tarantulas, Asian forest scorpion, you could always try having like a bioactive thing going on with, you could even communally, a beginner could do this, a beginner could communally, using bioactive substrate, you could have soil with springtails, isopods, millipedes, snails, roaches, like basically herbivorous, detritivore invertebrates. You could do that. It wouldn't be that hard. You just have to keep things moist, keep a decent amount of charcoal for the springtails, and just feed everything regularly. It'd be pretty handy. You could literally feed them the things that you have in your kitchen too. I hope that answers your question. Oh, and of course, mantises. As long as you raise what lives in your native environment, they should be very forgiving just because of that. The real issue is molting, and they just need a lot of space and preferably a mesh top that they can hang from. Let's see, next question. What is gin? That's really, wow, I don't think I've ever had a shorter question. And I don't mean that in a mean way, I've never had a shorter question. Well, first let's explain what vodka is. Vodka is mostly ethanol, which is the only alcohol that you can safely drink in relatively reasonable amounts. Anything else will pretty much just kill you in very small amounts. And it's made by distilling, that is to say evaporating the ethanol off of fermented grains, usually potatoes or wheat. Well, the only difference between that and gin, what makes gin, is it's been infused with botanical compounds, the aromatic and flavorful hydrocarbons and polyphenols from a variety of plants, most notably the one that you will always see. It's even, I think, where the name gin comes from. I think it's like juniper, and it's because of juniper. Juniper plant is it's an evergreen, very unique, piney aroma. That is very important. And then there's other plants, and they tend to depend more on the variety of gin as well as the brand, and many of them are like just straight up trade secrets. But that's really all it is. It's just vodka that's been infused with certain botanical components, notably juniper. So, I hope that answers your question. Next question. Recommended recipes for the boogaloo. I am a staunch advocate. I've mentioned this before with some of the more COVID-related videos, in having a strong pantry game. I think your pantry should be better stocked than your fridge. I'm not saying don't stock your fridge. I'm just saying have a lot of good dry goods, pasta, rice, couscous, which is a pasta, quinoa, etc. Have a wide variety of things that are dried. pickles, brined vegetables or whatnot. Just there's so many things that you can have. Vinegars that can really, spices. I keep thinking of ideas like while I'm talking. There's so many options for dried or preserved at room temperature goods that could really make or break your both your bank account and your ability to eat without getting bored out of your skull, because that's a real thing, by the way. In a survival situation, people think that they could just eat boot leather and keep going, but people get sort of a morale problem and a fatigue problem from eating the same foods over and over again, and they start eating less and less little by little, and it creates health problems and ultimately can contribute to starvation or malnutrition. So again, having good pantry things. I like to regularly make miso soup. I like to make omu rice. I know I sound like a total weeb saying all that. Omu rice, by the way, is just diced chicken, rice, ketchup. I know it sounds gross, but it's really good. I'm not even kidding. With an omelet placed over it. It's really good. Not even kidding. Wonderful, wonderful meal. Very cheap to make. Look to a lot of more non-Western cuisines, because they do tend to have a strong pantry game, whereas we tend to emphasize fresh food, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, a change in situation calls for a change in plans. And having good pantry things, and again, I've kind of modeled my pantry game after Japanese cuisine for that reason. They are very good at pantry stuff. Mormons too. Mormon cuisine and Japanese cuisine, like look into both of them. But those are the things I would suggest. Same thing with pasta. Buy canned tomatoes, stock up on butter that lasts, and make your own marinara and boil your own pasta. And now you've got something that really keeps a long flipping time. And then you add a dried or frozen meat to that, or game if you can get some. Boom. Dinner for very cheap, and that lasts very long without any interference. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, keep asking questions. Bye.